and welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Tonight is V-Steg night, and today is the day that the Batman coin starts pre-sales at the US Mint. And coincidentally, it's like the anniversary of the day that when Trump was 45, he jumped out of his limo and stopped a guy from beating a guy with a bat. I'm not making this up. Anyway, we'll talk about that and some more coincidences, some other V-Steg with the one and only Skullcap SaVant right after this. So jump in the live chat, let us know what you think, and hit the like. Welcome back, Ben. Good to have you.
Hey.
How very clicks of you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody hopefully is getting wise to why Batman matters so much to the V-Steg tapestry. But, you know, if you haven't watched all my content, I hope it's still cogent enough to follow through these episodic things that we do every week.
Yeah, it was just too much today. When I saw the story, which I used it as a thumbnail today, the
newspaper clipping one.
The newspaper clipping, yeah. That says like, oh gosh, I can't remember what it says. Batman trumped or something like that.
Bat attack, I think, is what it said.
Attacker trumped. Is that what it called? Is that what it said?
Well, it was not so far back on the texting thread that we found. So Muggers trumped. Bat wielding thug.
Muggers trumped. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned in the intro sequence the Batman coin. Silver and gold coin, actually. It's a relief print that they're doing both in silver and gold. And you can get it in 1 or 2 ounces. 1 or 2.5 ounces. It's one of those. It's like 1 ounce and 2.5 ounces, I think, is what it is. And last time we spoke, I ended the show by saying, you know, if anybody recalls, I've been collecting the covers for all these Deadpool Batman comics because they have V-Steg in a lot of them, and I'm noticing that. So I'm just collecting the ones that I see with the common symbolism that pops up in the V-Steg work all the time. But what we also determined last week was the 23rd. We were talking about the 23rd, and the 24th. They're going to be significant days. And if the audience recalls, it had a lot to do even with the matching of the Charlie Kirk assassination with the McKinley assassination, with some very key V-Steg threads, up to and including Leon Solgaz in his who's the assassin of McKinley back in 1901, the Buffalo World's Fair. His sentencing was on the 23rd and the 24th, and we'll get to that in a few, I'm going to guess, because Trump is going to be central to that part of it too. But there were some consequential things on the 23rd and 24th that happened throughout the week. There you go. Clint just looked it up. I'm glad I corrected myself. But to end the broadcast, I had mentioned the Batman coin also comes out on the 23rd. That was true, by the way, up until about a few hours after the broadcast ended, where I got an email saying that, nope, it's not coming out the 23rd anymore. It's coming out the 25th. So kind of bizarre timing for it. For one, it may have just been very coincidental, but it was kind of a funny qualia, at least, I think. Sorry, I was just getting the focus done. It was getting blurry. But yeah, so there's this weird connection ever since we left last two. I didn't probably tee up that Batman Day was coming. Batman Day was on the 20th. So that's another marker for people. This is just an international holiday that somebody started to concoct and DC approved 12 years ago. So for 12 years, there's been an official Batman Day that comes around this time of year. And this time of year was September 20th. So I think it's also funny that, to connect to your point with, Donald Trump getting beat by a bat, but did you ever see the Washington Post article? I just linked it in the little thread where Donald Trump was claiming he is Batman.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he also, it makes me pay or something. Because
Oh,
WAPO,
yeah, they've probably got a paywall on it
yeah,
now.
but he also, remember when he told, when that little boy got in the limo or a plane or something with him, and they said, and he said, "Are you Batman?" And he said, "Well, yes, I am Batman." Do you remember that? I mean, it's like a long time ago. It was his first presidency, I think. But yeah,
I think here we go. I found one that is a repost of the same.
Okay.
There we go. Now we can read it at least.
Share this tab instead. Here we go.
I do remember the instance you're talking about.
Yeah. Also, this is the.
I think it also is illustrating that story in this, to be honest. I think it's one and the same.
Might be the same one. Batman became a Batman meme. Yeah, I think this was it, because of State Fair, that kind of local hero. Mr. Trump, yes. He said the helicopter Don. Oh no, this might not be it, because this is like a grown man saying this.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, the helicopter Don. That's him. Inquire lens.
But they have a list.
9-year-old William. I think this is it. The little boy, 9-year-old William. And he said, "Are you Batman?" And he said, "Yes, I am Batman."
Then they have 15 reasons why.
Both born in Gotham during World War II. They both have fond distinguishing article, singular nickname, be it the Batman or the Donald. 1602 American billionaire who likes emblazon a civic phallic symbol with his name. Come on, man. It's a 6'2" billionaire who likes pretty much anything big with his name on it. They both have self-named structures in Midtown, Wayne Tower or Trump Tower. Each is forever on the lookout for a large spotlight. They're highly intelligent fathers, profoundly influenced their career. Each man has Scottish ties. I've been seeing tons of Scottish stuff. Trump and his mother's side, Batman co-creator Bill Finger has said that Bruce Wayne was partly named for Scotland's Robert the Bruce. Each man is rather fond of having an apprentice or a young sidekick to mold and scold, banter, and correct. Each man has appeared in a narrative alongside a younger female born Holly Robinson. Each has an uneasy relationship with what he views as an alien presence, to be the immigrant from Mexico or Krypton. Oh, that's funny.
I'm telling you, like, isn't this funny? It is
funny. I mean, some of these are a stretch, but
the Krypton one's great.
Mexico or Krypton, I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch. Each is eminently fond of private.
No, it's the alien. It's the word alien is what.
Yeah.
Is what I think is.
Well, I gave Cliff shit about that for I don't know how long, where I'm like, your data is saying alien invasion, and I think it is these migrants. And he's like, no. He really wants it to be like green aliens or gray aliens. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're picking up.
Well, we're going to have to contend with the Elohim at some point. Because here's the thing though, if they're the ones that are consequently the ringmakers of Saturn, as I think there's a working theory that I'm operating off of, because the V-Steg is pointed toward this being very distinct possibility. Have we talked about this? My guesswork, I guess hypothesis of who the ringmakers of Saturn are, who the alien beings are.
Go ahead, lay it on me.
Well, not to divert from this but if you can imagine, if the Elohim are as psychically powerful as they are purported to be in all of the texts, it's very, in fact, they're there are cautions written about how to interact with the Elohim because they're so psionically powerful, right? And the visual accounts of them that we have come from Elijah in the Bible, where Elijah's describing the Elohim as like these resplendent, kind of angelic, very, very charismatic creatures, humanoids. This is where all the angelic kind of symbolism comes from. But at the same time, we have the mantis problem that's persistent all the way into the past too, like all the way back to those times. Also, you have psychedelic accountings of these things, just kind of like Cliff encountered, right? These persist back into those same time annals. So what I've always kind of played around with the idea of is, what if they are one and the same? What if because the mantis was kind of this mental hyperspace kind of, don't fuck with me, I'm not to be fucked with, get out of my space. And remember, even Cliff, as he's talking about his interactions with these and those times, in the past where he has accounted for him in podcasts and such, he's talking about breaking into this mantis's space, and he's like in this kind of proverbial lab environment in hyperspace, and he feels these pressures to psychically get out of here. Well, what if the mantis and the Elohim are one and the same? If the mantis and the Elohim are both purported to have this psychic, aptitude, I've always thought it might be possible, especially if we're swimming in a wavelength soup that's directed enough in a specific bandwidth or Hertzian frequency that affects us, makes us susceptible to, right? Could the mantis creatures be broadcasting to us this charismatic, angelic visage when we interact with them, so that we're not hideously horrified by the sight of them?
Yeah.
Whereas they can control us easier that way when they're here, right? Because otherwise we might really get pissed and fisticuffs because they're so ugly and they're just so against what we would be used to, right? And it would make sense to me also, because if you look at the structures that are creating the plasmic trails that are those harmonic bands, the rings of Saturn in Norman Berggren's book, they're very, very insect looking craft. They've got like mandibles and organic kind of extremities, and kind of gross, right? But it kind of matches alongside what I would envision the craft of a mantis creature might be piloting through space. There it ends. It ends kind of there. That's kind of just put it out there.
I remember you talking about that, because you were like, we have that. I don't know if it's a vagus nerve response, but crawly things or whatever. And so would they veil themselves or change their look so that we wouldn't have that kind of a withdrawal to engage with them or whatever?
Right. It would only help with the psyop of controlling us, in my opinion, just thinking through it. And so until I've ruled it out, it's a working theory, well, it very well could be the case.
I mean, it makes me think even more that we are this, cattle planet in that case, because I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, like at the zoo or whatever, where like some of these very rare, like the crane or whatever, they make them like not talk. If you take care of this one kind of crane, you can't talk, and you have to put on like this giant bird suit thing to even go in, and you have to walk like the crane and take care of it and whatever, because they're so like freaked out, and you'll imprint on them because they're so rare and all this. Like, so I could see what you're saying. Like in theory, they could be trying not to imprint on us from their alien true movements and whatever. And they could be trying to, well, and when Cliff Stad, and those guys were in the military, and they had the red night vision, and they saw the whatever that was, and then they were like shooting
gargoyles or whatever the hell. Yeah.
And that was my first reaction was, oh, that's what in the Bible, when they talk about demons and angels, like they're using that word, but that could be the same thing as an alien. Like they also didn't know how to say helicopter.
Yeah.
When they were having premonitions of the future. And so they might have said like, flying dragon horse thing or something, or fires breathing, whatever. We just don't know. And there's been lots of conversations around it.
We have a okay idea now that we've got linguists reconstructing this stuff. We have a lot better idea than we had 10 years ago. And, and also Cliff has talked about this. AI, once it's tuned, it'll be a good assistant for us to re-encode what the language structures were semantically through time so that we can accurately translate this stuff again.
Well, speaking of the space stuff, since we're on it,
yeah,
you guys know, what do they say? What's the acronym for NASA? Never
a straight answer.
Yes, never a straight answer. Well, they've made an announcement today or something that they're considering nuking a city-sized asteroid or something. So what could go wrong there? I don't know.
I did really. They're gonna nuke a city.
Yeah,
the plot to Armageddon, the movie with Bruce Willis.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, what could go wrong? Anyway,
it's exactly what the plot. The movie.
The most ridiculous announcement. Well, not the most, but one of the most ridiculous announcements today. Just had to throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm tired of buying tickets to this movie.
Oh, like it or love it. I mean, the tickets, the budgetary threshold to crank out just piss poor movies is such that that's what you're going to be subject to for a while.
Yeah.
It's
they're crappy.
We do have a movement forming against Israel, pretty far and wide now. And I don't know if we'll reach the point where people are critically distinguishing between, the fucktards at the head of it and then, the willing, I'll just call them willing victims that are in the religious structure of it. It's your common Jews, but it'll be an interesting time. We're getting up to the point where,
I mean, this is a historic announcement for any sitting president to put his foot down and say Israel is banned from annexing the West Bank. It has been enough and time to stop. I will not allow the annex of the West Bank. Nope, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen. And Bibi is supposed to be here. I don't know if it's Monday.
Oh, really?
Either Monday or Tuesday. They indicted Comey today, and he's supposed to get picked up either Monday or Tuesday. And then, the Mickey Mouse, we're probably going to have the government shut down, October 1st. And Mickey Mouse hands are 10 too. So like we're leading all right. We're like right there, guys.
Yeah. And we have, what I'm starting to wonder is I'd have to go back and look at some of the surrounding language and some of Cliff High's data that originally started talking about the Israeli mistake. But
he called it Club 1310 or something like that, because I have an email. I have a tweet that I put out that was exactly, I used that term, and then somebody reshared more recently my tweet about when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, and I said, was this I think it was Club 1310. I can't remember what. I'm terrible at numbers and I'm a little dyslexic, so I get it switched. But I believe that was the number that he used. It was like Club something, and but it was the Israeli mistake. But he used this Club something.
Well, don't you think there might be? I mean, because all of the release language was all around people finally discovering that they were behind everything. That was the consequence of it. I mean, the event of it, the triggering point for fulfilling the language of the Israeli mistake, always seemed like it was going to be like a missile attack on Iran or something. And it was always one of these keen things to be aware of, because it always stood out to me as like, well, that would be a really big turnaround point. Turning point for right? Maybe it's too soon. Charlie Kirk's.
Well, they're putting up huge, really tall concrete walls around, I don't know if it's just around the Capitol building. I'm not sure what buildings in DC. And the like color.
Not just temporary ones now. They're putting up concrete, permanent, like Berlin Wall style shit. Like
big, tall concrete walls. I'll try to find a picture, but
what?
So could there be like an Israeli mistake, but it actually exposes them and they destroy?
What I'm trying to get at
is there's a Q post that says Castle Clean, and Trump just had the military guys walk through.
Yeah.
And it's that same picture on that Castle Clean.
With the two Marines.
It has the Marines and Trump. And
I know the one. Yeah.
And it looks like that when they're walking through. Well, if you leave a house, like I just moved out of I sold my home in Oklahoma City, moving here, we're building. And I cleaned my house and I did my last walkthrough and I cleaned my house, Castle Clean. Are they getting ready to implode that evil building?
What, the White House?
I mean, it could be. Not the White House. Would it be was it the White House or was it the Capitol? I don't know what they walked through. Now I have
It would not implode the Capitol. It's too ancient of a structure. It's part of that. They wouldn't do that to the Capitol.
They might. You never know.
I don't think so. There's too much symbolism in the rotunda that this would be.
There's some evil stuff over there.
I'll expose it.
He had said, we're going to clean it up and we're going to stop killing people there.
This is all I'm trying to get at. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't know if that's what that signifies further than just cleaning the personnel out. I don't know if they're actually going to implode a building.
I don't know. Why? Because you think that's beneath
the Independence Day, the alien ship comes down and literally blows up the White House, like in the movie or something.
You think that's beneath them? Were you see 9/11?
Oh, I know all of this, but they can't do that again with how many cameras that we all have on our phones now. Too many people
need the exposure.
I know, but that's why they wouldn't attempt that. That would just be, in my opinion. I just think that would be too obvious of a failure point for them to even attempt.
That's the point, is to expose.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think there might be an argument to be made in hindsight that Charlie Kirk's assassination itself might have been, I'm saying, the turning point. There's language maybe even to support that for the Israeli.
But now those people are all being made fools.
Who?
With people believing in all that because of this whole snake eyes thing.
Oh, I know. That's what I mean. But that's a Jewish construction in Hollywood too. This is what I'm saying. It's all connected to all this spell casting. This is maybe what we're getting at. Do you think maybe that the Israeli mistake could be this, because it's the thing that finally unraveled the last thread of yarn that undid the whole thing. The tapestry is done, even for the normies. Everybody's very anti-Israel right now in this country. It's pretty remarkable. And even though they're psyoping the shit out of the memorial ceremonies and all that stuff that happened, I don't even want to really talk too much. Everybody's been Charlie Kirk to Kingdom Come. So, but you see what I mean? Like I think there's potential that the ultimate Israeli mistake, maybe it's tied to a missile strike that they make out of desperation or something, because they just don't have public sentiment on their side. I wonder if we have yet to see the further kind of backed into a corner freak out that Israel will act on. But you know what Silent Hill is, right? Relative to this post you're showing.
Silent Hill is.
You don't?
But there's a phone booth here, and no one has even had a phone booth, and I don't know how long.
That's because it's classic Silent Hill is a video game series.
Oh, And I
It's
wonder
a
if they're
horror
going to
video
tell
game
people
series that
what
has
they've
to
been
do with,
eating.
huh?
I wonder if they're going to tell people what they've been eating.
Well, the idea is that Silent Hill only exists inside of this fog. Like it's this almost like alter reality, like this fog sets. You've seen maybe Stranger Things on Netflix?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when the fog sets in, it's like you're in the upside down world of Stranger Things, but it's not quite as weird as they make it seem in Stranger Things with all the weird kind of like growths on the trees and stuff. It's just kind of this psychological entrapment that creates this environment where there are these beings that are after you. It's a very similar allegory to Stranger Things, just illustrated with fog as the storytelling plot mechanism that captures
like
you.
Interesting that they would call it Hill, like Capitol Hill, the fog on the hill.
What do you think it had to do with McDonald's? Did this ring a bell in your spidey sense in any way that connected
just
it?
Like the meat locally, when we go buy meat now, it's very expensive and there's shortages. And I'm thinking because maybe we're actually only getting sourced from cattle now. So that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Also, the tariffs cause probably a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which is good. So that'll help our farmers. So we're just getting local now, not Argentinian meat or, I also noticed that Trump put 100%, starting October 1st, he put 100% tariffs on cabinets and 50% on upholstery furniture.
Cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
Like Home Depot cabinets?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Think about what gets shipped in those.
Just wood? Like wood and lumber? Is he's just attached?
Think about what gets shipped in those.
In cabinets? Cabinets come disassembled usually.
Sometimes. And
what? They're shipping people in cabinetry to Home Depot? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm not talking about Home Depot. I'm not talking about any specific, but he said, you can read his tweet about it. It's very odd. His wording is very odd.
Is it one of those times he capitalizes certain words within
Yes.
his? Okay, is cabinet one of those? Maybe he's talking about his.
Maybe he's talking about the cabinet.
His cabinet of officials,
But why would he be putting 100% tariffs on them?
I don't know. Encouraging carpenters to build their own.
No, I mean, I still think it has to do a lot with saving the children. But I
didn't know the cabinets were real. I truly. I
do not know about the whole Wayfair.
Walmart, I know exactly what the Wayfair thing's all about,
okay.
But that has to do with product names. That's code for product names. Where there's no product that's changed hands. You can use that if you send the order form to a certain person within the company, and they'll send you a different product. And they have it all listed on their cross-linked on their Instagram posts that shows you what the little girl is. That's the same name as the bedpost thing. That's the name of the little girl.
Right. But if your invoice says it's a cabinet, then you would have a tariff on there.
Right. But I know what you're saying with the Wayfair
I would think
thing.
that would tag it in there.
Cabinet what?
I would think that would tag it, like if it was coming in.
Yeah.
You may be right. It may be more about the cabinet. Maybe that has to do with them having dual citizenship.
Maybe. Or they're insider trading.
Dual citizenship.
Cabinet names matched missing people. Like what? Wayfair cabinets? I'm not aware of the specificity behind cabinets in the Wayfair scandal, but I'm very, very astutely aware of the Wayfair scandal.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, it could be. I would say if I was to make an educated bet, if I was like putting money on it, it probably has to do with this cabinet of officials, what he might be referencing.
Might be.
But
will we find out? That's the thing I want to know. I'm happy to see the James Comey indictment. I want to see the next step. I think that was, Pam Bondi saving her ass because she knew she was about to get sent out the door. She was getting called on the carpet to take some action. Now Trump is saying out in the open that Obama was part of, the Russiagate and stealing the election. So you would expect to see them taking action against him as well. And they traded out Biden's photograph, like in the succession of presidents, to an auto pen.
I know. I saw that. That's
no
pretty
there.
funny.
But to me, that's more of the ridiculousness of the movie and just makes me not want to pay attention to the movie anymore.
Well, specifically that whole 4-year period was even more of a movie than it usually is.
Mm-hmm.
It was the pretendency. Remember, it's perfect phraseology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know who coined that one. Was that one Cliff too? Did Cliff coin that one too?
I don't know.
I think it might have been somebody like him, but I only borrowed it. I used it liberally during that time period, but
yeah,
it was not my invention, the phrase. Well, yeah, but the snake eyes thing was an interesting thing. Hopefully wakes people up to really what the template for creating a PSYOP is all about. If you have something like that that's already pre-existent, it also doesn't mean, this is the other thing we can get into here, I guess, with the snake eyes thing, because everybody freaks out that it's like pre-cognitively planned, maybe back in 1998, that they're going to kill Charlie Kirk tonight. And it's like, well, maybe not. I don't think so. I don't think that they're looking forward and pre-planning events 30 years in advance with the exactitude that they match back to specific movies. The movie is created as a template already, in my opinion, more so than anything. And they can use it as a pre-installed subliminal tool that's already in the culture to cast a new spell on top of it, using the beats of it to lock in the spell in place to have more staying power, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they were planning the Charlie Kirk assassination all the way back then, because that's where the internet starts to go sometimes. And I don't think it's very productive to go down that path necessarily, because if I'm correct about the Elohim and the Mantis being the same, and they're mind controlling us from a Saturn frequency device using the moon as an attenuator, that's a bigger problem to me than whether or not, the movies in Hollywood have some sort of like simulation theory-esque approach to our, do we have a choice?
Yeah, that's in that situation. I was just going to say, if you believe that situation, do you believe we have free will?
Well, exactly. And this is where those people go with their thought. That's why I'm cautioning it, because you can fuck with your head pretty hard if you just think like everything is on rails, and you can probably do yourself some mental harm, because you'll get so overworked and upset maybe that you don't have free will. I think that really, I don't know if a lot of people can take that thought pattern, that consideration.
Yeah, that doesn't seem healthy.
Well, your average normie out there, they can't really handle existential things. anything outside their routines on a day-to-day basis, it's really rough. So be careful, as I guess it's just cautioning the people out there, as this is becoming more and more apparent that spellcasting is part of this kayfabe theater process, and that symbolism, repeat instances with similar language, right? The Charles Kirkland of the character in the movie that got assassinated was on September 10th in the movie. This fight that they were at was also on the same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Nicolas Cage's hands are doing a little Trump thing like this on the cover of the movie poster, all that stuff. It's all there, very conveniently laid out in a movie, and they can recycle it to fuck with you all they want. And it casts a more meaningful spell because it's something that already has a cast. What do you do with a sword? You have to create a cast for the sword, right? And you put the metal into the cast in order to create the thing, but the cast has to be there first. That's what casting a spell is all about. You can't cast a spell with a word nobody knows. It won't have an effect because nobody knows the meaning, right? But if you have, this is why name stealing matters too. This is why it really matters, because if you can also alter the meaning across time and convince everybody that this new thing is meant by the same word that's been used, you can use both meanings.
Yes. Which is, we've had this conversation before, and I was having this conversation with my mom where you were telling me about how city actually it can be spelled a different way and mean like an entity or almost like a meme form of presenting an entity. And so when they said destruction of city, when John McAfee was singing that song on his birthday, and Janice shared on the eve of his 80th birthday, she shared a video of, and he was singing, "It was a very good year. It was a very good year." And I was hearing
Sinatra song.
Yes. And I was hearing very, and when I asked Grok to grok it up, it wrote VERI in all capital letters. And then it said like the city was destroyed, or city, something about city being destroyed. And it wrote CITI.
Like the Citibank card.
Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? And anyway, so it wrote this whole thing. And then, and it was like in the fall or in the autumn. Anyway, wrote the whole thing. It was like, and then, and then you were telling me there's another term.
Yeah, the Vedic term, siddhi, SIDDHI, siddhi. It's pronounced the same as city, like Gotham City in Batman lore. But siddhi is, it's like an extraordinary latent ability or a talent or a milestone that you unlock in your own personal growth of your life. It's like it's the reward that your disciplines get you by doing your disciplines well. Whatever your disciplines may be, your discipline might be to accomplish yourself as an architect, right? And so there are a certain amount of spiritual cities that you rank as you're gaining in skill and spiritual knowledge and awareness of what it takes to craft something and create that very specific item in the world. Or music would be a different path of cities, right? But the idea is that it's different from karma. It's more like a lasting skill set obtainment thing that you take on to your soul as you go through. And the idea is that those also persist past lifetimes, past the life-death barrier. That kind of gets diluted into your juice for your reincarnative cycle, right? But that's the idea. They're those things that you obtain along the way that make you grow in whatever capacity.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And so then today we were on WBRT and they got in a conversation about fascism, and Joe got,
I know, I saw that.
Yeah. And he was like, people actually use that word wrong and it makes me crazy. And I was just giggling because I was like, okay, Skullcap and I just had a conversation about this. And as you were breaking it down, I was like, that sounds like a good thing. That sounds like a Dow.
Well, there are aspects of it that don't sound so bad, right? It's again, I also have to disclaim, there is no sales pitch for me that will ever come that we need to adopt fascism. But in fact, let it be known, I think that there are fascist qualities that the system does well with. But if you think about the bundle of sticks around the axe pole in the middle, think about too many bundles of sticks. Think about how a centralized system really gets sick, where it becomes unwieldy. You can't pretty soon when there are too many sticks for you to even pick the thing up, it becomes useless and it becomes over gluttoned and it becomes terrible. And there aren't really many checks and balances within the system that strictly prevent that growth. So there's a lot to like about certain aspects of it's not really communist either. I kind of disagree with his strict definition that's like communist, because it needn't be necessarily. It can grow unchecked into communism, like I guess that's what communism would be. What I just kind of depicted and described would be too many bundles of sticks around the axe pole in the middle, which would make it unwieldy. But
it's supposed to be kind of like this. I wish there was a better picture of like the.
Well, look at fasces, FASCES, just to isolate the iconography, because you're looking at kind of the ideology. And there you go.
Wow, there we go. That's much better. Okay.
And so if you go to an image search on that, that'll show you more appropriately. So now if think about having clans, though, you know how over in Scotland and in Norway they had clans. They had these tribal kind of territorial clans that were all distinctly different from their cultures, but they all kind of had intermixed lineages because they are all same racial structures and stuff. But they would have to have their, in Norway, they would have the Jarls, and you would have similar clan leader, the chiefs or whatever. What is it, chiefs that they call them in the Scottish clans?
I don't know.
Either way, you had a figurehead in each clan, but the clans didn't get too large. The clans only got to the point where they might have been 500 members large. And so you had all these different clans scattered across the land. You're technically your allies, but you're not centralizing everything. They're not even city states. You have a similar kind of moralistic framework that ties them all together across these clans, but you have maybe different, very, very slightly different local governing laws about how you police your local area, right? But if you consider each one of these as an individual fascia, never growing too large, think about if you ever have to go to battle, like if you're adopting some of these concepts that would be more central to living out the iconography of the fascias, right? Not fascism as we know it, like we talked about last week.
Right.
But if you were then to have a bunch of those, now you've got maybe a collection of a dozen of them. If I ever have to go to battle, I know that I can go to my 12 homies and go, kind of appeal to my cause and maybe get them into battle with me, because my enemy is probably their enemy too. But it's also an elegant system if that were to be the case, because you would have to actually convince your brothers that it was a worthy cause for them. Right. They wouldn't just blindly go into battle because you had some squabble with some asshole at the border. They'd be like, fucking handle that shit, man. I'm not going to battle for that. And so, but that's kind of the health of the system too. You had to actually go and it's way better than House of Representatives. You actually kind of have each clan, each cultural structure not ever growing too large to outstrip its own boundaries. Everybody still knows each other, so everybody can still see and keep an eye on each other because it's not too large to where you don't know everybody's fucking name.
Well, that's where it really is very representative of like a DAO to me, because you all have something at stake. Mm-hmm. You all have something in the game. So and then you would all be, like you said, have a discussion or a vote, a governance kind of thing. And if it wasn't beneficial or the whole group didn't move that direction,
right,
then you wouldn't take that action, So I don't know. I thought it was interesting conversation. And
the main thing to like about where the fascism core principles come from is, I think, the divine right stuff. I think it's absolutely appropriate that God favors certain individuals to rise to power because of their exploits. And within that system, there's a great amount of freedom to allow for that. And to actually honor it when it shows up, because that individual is probably going to be bettering your life too, because of their ability to rise to the occasion and prove it. The proof is important. The merit is actually really important. And those aspects of it, again, if you're just going to clip them out of a coupon set and just put them into a new system, I would argue taking a lot of that stuff, implanting it back inside of kind of a clan or a tribe structure is a healthy way to go about it. States even are a little bit too large.
Right.
I think they're too large. It doesn't offer enough variability for local needs to be met. It really anywhere, because
for accountability, because people would get lost. I mean, there's not enough transparency, accountability, especially some of these larger states that are like, I mean, Texas their economy is larger than most countries,
Yeah. Yeah. And California's too, but it's like a fake kind of ethereal entertainment built economy. But yeah,
right.
Texas actually at least mines and produces shit. So
something, yeah.
Cattle.
Yeah.
But anyway, this may not be over. Like, it's important about the cast, to go back to the point that got us down this track, right? Like,
yeah,
people don't, spell casting is pretty basic. I mean, it's perception control by way of subliminal programming. And so if you study advertising and mesmerism, you'll actually kind of get it. You'll just get what this is all about. And language manipulation is key with the casting of spells, because what do you do with words? You spell them. I mean, this isn't totally rocket science. You are influenced by way of the novel that you read. You're touched by it. Your emotionality and your hormones are affected by the character on the page that does the thing that breaks her heart because, or whatever. If it's a romance novel, like, you'll get totally into it, and that's mind control. That's subliminal programming. You don't realize the spell casting of just reading a book. But the cast is that the word has to exist in the first place, otherwise it won't have an effect. And it has to be used in repetition for it to have some sort of metronomic locking in apparatus. That's what the V is. That's what my argument is to all of you guys. When you actually look at its emplacement in the culture, in music and history and money and science and in all domains, it's always the watermark for when things of this nature, the tactics of this nature, be using against the mind of the constituent that's absorbing it, whether it be a reader or a viewer or a listener. I don't know if this is totally over everybody's head anymore, because I've harped on it so much on this show, but it's important to see the track record of use case across time of key terms also. Because unfortunately for us, I think terms have been changed and altered. And of course, even when Latin was discarded, that was a big moment, because we changed the entire language structure that we used after that for the dominating common tongue. English was born, right? And how do you think that affected our ability to remember shit when we went to a whole new language construct that was now the common thread by which we indexed everything against? Huge moment, like huge cleaving amnesia opportunity to deprogram people from, right? Huge. Because now you're taking literally everything and shoving it over this way into new inflections, new sounds, maybe combining other sounds that have subliminal effects. Like, that kind of shit gets to be snuck in right in the design and substrate of what you're designing with the new language. There's a lot that goes to this, right? Think about those aspects are what fascinates me the most. But the potential for the mind control is definitely apparent, right?
Completely. Well, and even like now they've, of course, gotten rid of cursive. And so there's that happening all over again, and not even cursive, but writing at all.
Writing at all.
Typing.
Behavior pattern change.
Yeah. Now everybody's just talking to text. And so that changes a whole nother, that's exponential behavior pattern change, language change, gets rid of spelling in a different way. Gets rid of
diction. It gets rid of diction. It gets rid of punctuation. It gets rid of cadence. Oh, these are all very important things to conveying ideas. Even the subtle taking a pause. How many people are incapable of doing it? Just pause for effect. Sometimes I get overly excited when we're talking. Sometimes
Oh, same.
My little diatribes, I probably commit mortal sins the same way, just when I get excited about certain things, but you know what I mean? Just pausing for effect, or presenting something open-endedly versus close-endedly, not giving any choices, or whatever. There's so much to the science of language that it is maybe the most opportunistic vector to control our minds with symbols and language put together. Whew.
But I also think that's where I love the V-Steg stuff, or the Z-Steg, or unpacking these codes and things that we see. And that's where, like I had shared, the stop on a dime thing, which Westwood and I are going to get into tomorrow.
It's a good time to bring that up if you want to.
Yeah, he shared this with me.
I think it factors kind of into what we're talking about here a little.
I have it already pulled up. Oh, dang it.
We found another comic book. Long story short, guys, this is
Westwood
in the vein
sent
of
me
the Fed comic books, and I don't think Bix has talked about this one yet. I certainly haven't seen him highlighted on any of his
I
content.
think that's where Westwood got it, was from Bix's
Oh, he
website.
did. So Bix did. Okay.
It says, and he either tagged him in it or he got it from Road to Ruta website. I want to, and I'll ask him tomorrow on the show.
Are you going on the show with No, Clint? You're doing the happy
Westwood,
hour tomorrow.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And where is it? I might have to pull up a new one. Oh, here it is. Well, first I should pull up the tweet, right? Darn it. It's going to take me a minute. No, I can send it to somebody that hold on. Find a shortcut. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. That's going to be way harder than just trying to find it, I think. Oh, here it is. Stop on a dime. Okay, share this post instead. So I said, stop on a dime. Interesting choice of words. Considering they're ending the penny and currently cost more to create a nickel, which Westwood had let me know about. And then he's like, go
cost more to create a nickel. Are you? Oh, I think I know what you mean. It creates more than the 5-cent face value that I see. Yeah.
So he's like, go into a bank and you can get a box of nickels and whatever. Anyway, so I tagged him in this, and he surprised me and it says, and he's talking about his UN visit. Escalator going up on the main speaking floor came to a screeching halt, which I'm sure if I did gematria with main speaking floor, MSF, main screeching halt, it stopped on a dime. And that just hit me. And I was like,
maybe before we show this here, I've got actually, this is, if people didn't know that this happened, I've got the link right here. So everybody, what she's referencing, before we read that tweet.
Oh yeah.
Contextually, there was an event, Donald Trump, and this is kind of full circle why the 23rd and 24th, I think, mattered last week when Lisa and I were looking at it.
Yeah.
Was Trump's UN visit. Trump had the UN visit on the 23rd, and it caused all these ripples through the next couple of days. But there was a key moment, symbolically, very similar to when he came on the scene in 2015 and announced his presidency run and came down the escalator.
And it was a golden escalator, just like this was a golden escalator.
Golden escalator, the famous thing that The Simpsons predicted. This happened at the UN after he gave his speech that blew everybody's mind.
This doesn't play, but it's just.
I think there's a clip on Twitter below that does show it, but.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Well, there was some concerning reporting over the weekend from the London Times, as you pointed out, that UN globalist staffers were basically plotting to set up the president of the United States. And first it was the escalator, Then it was the teleprompter. And then Katie Pavlich from Town Hall, who we offered a seat in the press pool to cover the president's historic speech today, noticed that the audio inside of the room was much lower and different for the president of the United States than the previous speaker. So when you put all of this together, it doesn't look like a coincidence to me. And I know that we have people, including the United States Secret Service, who are looking into this to try to get to the bottom of it. And if we find that these were UN staffers who were purposefully trying to literally trip up the president and the first lady of the United States, well, there better be accountability for those people. And I will.
Yeah. They were
so what happened at the bottom of the escalator was right as Trump approached it, you'll notice even in the footage, if you slow it down, the stairs stop. The escalator's moving just fine all the way up until Trump gets on it and then bring to a halting stop. And the point of all of this is why everybody's speculating the UN was so upset was because Trump very strictly called out some very long-standing talking points from the UN as being bunk and essentially retarded. You know, climate change, stupid green policies, losing your culture to invaders, everything at all. So that's the setup to this tweet. In other words, if you're missing the context.
So then I say stop on a dime. Interesting choice of words, considering they're getting rid of the penny and the nickel costs so much as well. Is that going to be something like, well, maybe that's our new, you know, when they revalue the dollar, whatever, that'll be our new like penny, the base, the bottom of the stairs. See how he's at the bottom of the stairs? You know, maybe that would be the beginning. I don't know. And then Westwood writes on here, once upon a dime. Oh, he tagged Road to Ruta. So he tagged Road to Ruta once upon a dime. So he didn't get it from his website. And then it's this New York Fed comic book. And so then if I go here, it says once upon a dime, and you see this little dime. And like I said, I'm going to go through this with Westwood because he did share it with me and all this. But you guys know I have been preaching about the post office being our new monetary system or part of it for like since 2018 or something. And look at our little postal bug.
And Saturn, don't forget the Elohim controlling our minds from Saturn over there.
So way out in the universe, little planet called Novus. Anyway, so we'll go through this with Westwood, but I'm curious.
It on first glance, when Lisa and I were looking through this, it does look like it is at first a dissertation on swap markets.
DeFi,
credit swap markets, not credit default swap. That was, just a slip in my mind, tying the language back to the 2008 crisis. But the swap markets that allow digital trading to happen, and it's pretty
good while they're using dimes, and they got the word dime from
do it more
efficiently,
which is the electronic trading apparatus. Let's say. And maybe if I'm speculating on it, could be Root A itself,
Oh.
It could be. That's what the whole emphasis of its creation was supposed to facilitate for from the onset. So it very well just might be tied back to the Ruta comics in that very same way, because it was essentially the do it more efficiently digital system.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's who that is. Maybe it's Ellen Greenspan. Maybe, the guy with the multiple eyes that we were trying to figure it out. Maybe that's who it is. Maybe it's AKA Satoshi Nakamoto.
I don't know. I thought it was Reggie because it looked like the coins, the Veritasium rounds, not coins. Sorry. Excuse me.
The only thing that gets me is the symbolism on the cover is clearly the reverse of the Silver Eagles pre-2020, the old design of the tails on the Silver Eagles. That's very clearly what the cover is, whether it's a dime or not. To
me, that's why the whole Sydney Sweeney thing happened. American Eagle was because they were doing something the American Eagles.
Think about that. Maybe it's this too. Maybe they'll make just like they do with gold. Silver's going to be worth so much that they literally might have to make silver dimes that are a tenth of the melt weight of a 1 ounce coin. and it'll still maybe have, the same reverse. Just like they do with the gold eagles, they just reduce them in size. They don't even redesign the relief on the front of it.
Silver eagle dime size.
I think that's probably, it's going to be so expensive that they're going to have to start minting tenth of an ounce pieces, probably, right?
Yeah. Which kind of like reignites the old dimes that were actually.
It'll literally still be a dime with it. If a dollar gets revalued to what one constitutional dollar is equal to the threads of silver that are in that coin at a given time, it's a moving number. A dime would just be 10% of that dollar. It would still be called a dime.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'm just throwing it out there. That could be
what if
something relative to it, but we'll break out the comic in what it has to offer in its entirety. I'm going to read it myself over the week. Maybe I'll have some thoughts next week on it.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow if I can make your Twitter spaces. Do you still do your Twitter spaces on Friday nights?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I know not a lot of people in there like me as much as some people like me in there. But
they do. Everybody likes everybody in there. We have a great crowd in there. Everybody's very welcoming, and it's real laid back. So it's an easy group to get along with. Everybody's just kind of there supporting each other, and it's a pretty laid back group. So
I think I've ruffled some feathers in there is all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Not that you don't ruffle feathers in your own group. I ruffle feathers plenty.
Well, we are having our meetup coming up in Metamora, Illinois next weekend, October 3rd.
Yeah.
On the town square at Hanover's. So we'll be streaming, maybe, I don't know. Last time Wes would just shut it down and said, we're not streaming. And because he just wanted to hang out with everybody there at the bar.
He didn't want to work on it. Yeah. Well, it takes work to stream too.
Well, and it's hard to hear, and it's distracting, takes away from the people that actually spent money and time and effort to get there. And so we really wanted to just pour into the people that were actually there. So if you can get there, be there. And there's amazing people there. And there's some really great little shops around there. And we're going to like make it a whole weekend thing. But so you'll see like some of your friends in the chat here and some of the local characters around kind of kicking around town all weekend too. But so that's kind of the plan we're leading up to. I'm trying to get my son ahead. We've had a very heavy homeschooling day. We're trying to work ahead because I'll be gone. So I was working ahead on with math.
Maybe I should say it offline or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you need Allison's tutoring services for anything to relieve yourself of some of that burden, she'd be happy to talk to you about that. I'm sure she can teach literally all the way through trig. She can teach beyond trig into calculus too, but she doesn't prefer it. I know he's not at that age where he's going to need that advanced, but she's that good. So.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. That is really great to think about, especially as his math gets more difficult.
She's got still a couple open slots on her schedule. She's usually pretty high in demand because of how good she is, but she does have have some slots. So
thank you because we can do it virtually now. So that's so great.
That's what she does. She's got plenty of tools to do it just fine, and it's I'll
have to send her his so they're doing this new curriculum. It just started last year called Math Map, and it's by Lee Bortini's daughter, I think, or something. And it's very different way of doing math.
Oh.
But that's where I came up with the whole, oh my gosh, we're in the 3D, but we're actually in the 4D because of time. And
right. I remember that. I remember that whole curriculum.
My whole like freak out moment thing about that.
Yeah.
And how they trapped our energy in money with getting us to believe in time. And then we could break out with the plasma and get into the 5D. And I still believe that. And there's another really great lady, Pam Gregory, that I did an interview with a guy on a different channel, and she was talking. I sent you the video, and she was talking about how there was a Pluto return in January, and it's going to stay this same way through 2026. And
the United States is Pluto return is what it was, right?
I can't remember now, but it's something about like we were passing through a gate 55, which is double V-Steg, whatever. And that it was something about the methylated gene, which I have like double methylated gene. And
you're going to have to be, I'm going to have to be a student of you on that at some point. I have to learn more. That's the first time I've heard about the methylated genes.
Oh, sometimes they call it the motherfucker. But you cannot methylate. You can't process, like I can't process any B vitamins.
That's what you're saying,
stuff like that. So I have to have like methylated B or anyway.
That's what that designation. Okay, I've seen that designation just on vitamin bottles and stuff. I never looked into what it meant. But
that's what that is. And so and she's talking about these people like me that are methylated, and the shift. I'll put it in the Telegram group just so everybody can watch it. But if you start about 21 minutes, she's saying that like we're becoming these new humans. We're unlocking the new human, specifically mentioned, and she specifically mentions like the methylated gene. And this guy Richard Rudd or something, I don't know. She had him on her show, and I need to go find that interview as well. But it just really resonated with me. And I think that's something that we're all kind of going through. And so, I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Well, it makes me wonder what the process behind, methylene blue and all of the health benefits of that, if that maybe helps repair methylated genes too.
Well, so I need to have my new neighbor. Well, it's actually Mom's new neighbor. I'll be on the other side of Mom, but she's a functional medicine nurse, and she's been able to do some stuff she had like a tick bite when she was young and was sick for a long time. And then she got into alternative medicine and has been able to help bring a lot of healing in her life, and then her children's as well. And she was talking to me about this methylated gene, whatever, and some of the treatments that they do for it, and or how it differs, how it has your body like not be able to process toxins the same or get rid of toxins the same or something. Anyway, so I could maybe have her, if she'll be brave enough. She's pretty sweet, but she might be. She's not shy when you meet her in person, but I don't know how she feels about like, hi, you want to come?
What was the gentleman's name that you had as your health series for so long? He was always such a
Reg McDaniel.
Reg McDaniel.
Yeah.
He was very dry, but always very just chock full of systematic knowledge on all sorts of
information. Yeah. He's from Texas, so he talks like my daddy. So it takes him a long time to say it a little bit, but he's full of knowledge. He's a really brilliant man. And now all of this stuff that he's been saying for a long time is all coming out with RFK. And all of it's going back to nutrition and our genes and how our body processes it. And I'm like, yep, Dr. Reg's been talking about that for years. Oh yeah, I've got tons of videos of that. So if you want to go watch my wellness playlist and watch Dr. Reg, and you can order some New Eden. And
I do recommend watching it with the video on. It's not one you could probably listen with podcasts because of the slides that he brings to the table. You probably have to watch it. But.
Yeah, you have to watch it. But you could even watch it on 1.5.
In fact, it'll probably enhance the experience because it'll bring his pace up to almost normal,
Hey, listen, I love a Southern boy.
I watched almost every episode of that when it was on. I learned a crap ton from that guy.
Yeah, he's a really brilliant guy. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, good stuff. It's exciting to see people learning, and and that's the other. I don't want to get into a whole nother thing because I know we've been on here over an hour. But when they did the Tylenol thing,
yeah.
I knew that immediately that was partial distraction because I had just seen that they moved Tylenol out of Johnson & Johnson or whatever into a shell company so they could attack Tylenol, but it was a distraction.
Interesting.
And probably to protect the dumbasses that would go and do what they did, which was down a bunch of Tylenol just in revolt of Trump, which a bunch of them did. And now the ER is full of a bunch of people who overdosed on Tylenol, which I don't even know if that's a real thing or not. But can you imagine if they had said what they actually did say, which is that which that's part of the methylated thing or the whatever, is that your body is
acetaminophen as an agent is somehow facilitating for this gene deficiency kind of a thing.
Right. The glutathione or whatever.
Right. That's what it was. The glutathione production is hijacked.
Right. And that's what detoxes your body.
Yeah. It's the flushing of it. Yeah.
Right. And so because the two things, the combination, that's what's dangerous. It's not that the one thing is dangerous or whatever. Anyway, and so I was like, oh my gosh, my new neighbor friend, they do glutathione treatments in her holistic functional medicine clinic.
Yeah, I take liposomal glutathione. It's
there you go.
It's a good supplement to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's just all this stuff, and and I know Dr. Reg has been talking about all that kind of stuff for years, and then now I have this sweet lady that building on the other side of Mom that's talking about it, and then I'm hearing all this stuff, come in. But I almost think they did that to protect people, because if they had just said it was the jabs that were harming the babies, all those libtard pregnant women would have run out and jabbed themselves up in protest. You know what I mean? Instead of taking a bunch of Tylenol.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean,
God knows what they would have done to their children,
the information needs to get out anyway. So over time, we just stop using Tylenol or acetaminophen entirely, or ibuprofen needs to go next. That'll be the next thing. Aspirin's okay. It turns out aspirin's pretty okay, but these other like headache relievers that we've always taken.
If you think about it, most Tylenol has like what is that, red dye, whatever, and
just on the candy coating on the outside. Yeah, it's terrible. Awful. I used to take it as a kid too. It's like, you used to think about it and take your Tylenol tablets and you've got a fever or whatever the fuck.
Take 2 and call me in the morning.
And it's better that it gets bred out of the culture. My sister's one of those that's going kicking and screaming with all this.
Oh my goodness.
She's the only one in my family. Literally, I guess every family's got one.
Yeah.
But I love her, but I can't talk to her because conversation degrades so quick, even if you're trying to be level-headed about anything. But Allison still has a Facebook, and I don't have a Facebook anymore. I think it is there, and she tags my ghost account with photos and stuff all the time. But there's a post my sister made like from last week. J.K. Rowling, her childhood hero, J.K. Rowling. Oh my God, she's so sad how the mighty have fallen. She's just a fascist. She uses the word fascist in her Facebook post about how she's quoting Hitler, and then quotes Hitler again the next day, and it's just like, well, Corinne, as my sister, it's going to be rough on you for the next 10 years. I don't know what to say. I
think it's going to be rough on all of us. Like, that's what, to me, with the Snake Eyes thing, with the Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I have friends that are MAGA, love our country, Christian, well-intended, sweet, kind people that like loaded up their entire family and drove out to Arizona and went to the fireworks show, And
300,000 people couldn't get in. I was amazed. I was like, what?
insane, completely insane. And there wasn't a body, and there wasn't a burial or anything. Like, it's the weirdest funeral I've ever seen in my life. And then for them to see this snake eye thing come out, and it's like, okay, guys, this is the part where you can't tell somebody they've been fooled. You have to show them they've been fooled. And like, I've gone through it too. I know I had that moment where I found out about the bushes and I was crushed.
Oh, you were?
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know this about your past.
2017. My mother red pilled or orange pilled us, silver pilled us, black pilled us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The bushes are, I mean, I was raised in Houston, Texas. They are our Kennedys. Like, what are you talking about? That they're Satan worshipers and that Barbara Bush is a dude and that they do these horrible things. And like, what are you talking about? I was crushed. Yeah. And I felt like a fool. I felt like a complete and total fool for not seeing it.
Well, okay. I guess it's a fair reaction.
Yeah. Everyone's going to have that.
I don't know what it's like to live into your 20s not being an iconoclast, though. You know, I just don't have that lived experience. So I maybe misassociate people like you that you were always this way, you know, and just take that fact for granted kind of a thing.
No, I saw, here, I'll get you one better. 2016, I'm in the parking lot and I've got to go in and vote. Now, I had gotten so sick and tired of all the crap with politics that I had unregistered myself as a Republican and signed myself up as an independent. And I had no idea how the whole system worked. So at first I tried to go in and do the primaries, and I tried to vote for Trump because I had decided, well, do I vote for this misogynistic, egocentric asshole or Satan? So I went with the misogynistic, egocentric asshole. And then I walk in and they're like, you can't vote in the primary because you're an independent. And I was like, what? I mean, that's how uneducated I was about the voting system. Yeah. Like, I didn't know crap about what was going on in our country. I didn't know crap about that's how 2016, that is how drastically, when I say I fell down a rabbit hole, like I shot down a rabbit hole. I got so, once I became awake and knew what was going on and how we've been lied to, and you know, when the mom said the Federal Reserve isn't federal and there's no reserves, and told us about the money, told us about the Bushes, told us about 9/11, found out about Building 7, like it never ended for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about like doing the show, telling people, sharing with people. And I don't care if they think I'm freaking crazy, because somebody is going to hear something that resonates with them, that they're going to say, you know, I didn't think that I knew there was something off with that. And I don't know which part of the story it is, you know, but hopefully they find their own part of the story that sounds like truth to them, and they go do the research themselves. And they find their own rabbit hole to go down. And then they can keep learning and finding the truth and finding freedom in that. Like, that's why I get so passionate about it. So.
I see. I did not know that was the threshold, that year was the launch point for your.
Yeah. I literally, that's where I was. Like, that's how dramatic it was for me.
Wow. Well, I guess it makes, I mean, you were living life being a mom and had a lot of other shit to pay attention to for quite some time, and some turmoil in life. And, you know, you just never look into stuff that you don't have time to look into because of, it makes sense. I guess those that were my age group, I guess, had the benefit of 9/11 happening right at the onset of high school. So I had plenty of time to think about. And in my very, your teenage years are naturally your rebellious years, where there's a little bit of a window of opportunity there where things lined up that way for me to just slowly become skeptical from that point, and just kept ever building, ever accumulating. And I think it was the JFK stuff that was the most damning to me when I finally got through to, like, right before high school ended. I went down that rabbit hole for the first time, like read the Oliver, not the Oliver, is it Oliver North?
Stone.
Oliver North. Oliver Stone wrote Crossfire, the book about all of the evidence that puts the situation into a doubtful perspective, and it just goes from there. We will continue this fight on the V-Steg front from everything that I found out. Like it was a building theory probably from about 21 onward.
And once again, what did they call the thing with Trump? So Crossfire Hurricane.
Well, yeah, this is what I wanted to mention too about snake eyes. So something people should, look into the snake eye symbolism. Just like when you lose in craps, when you hit snake eyes, it's a sign of failure. It's a sign of death. It's a sign of how do you say deception? How it's recognized in most spiritual circles. This is the sign of deception. So all of these beats were used again with the spell casting that's set in there with snake eyes. And you also had this other character, and I don't know, we don't have time for this. This is like more comic book type stuff, but G.I. Joe is a 1980s cartoon that was based more on a toy from the 1960s, which never really got a TV show. You just had G.I. Joe Barbie doll sized things, right? But it got a TV show and a comic book in the 80s. And there's a character in there called Snake Eyes. And Snake Eyes is a ninja. And Snake Eyes has he has an archenemy, Storm Shadow, who's the other ninja from the other faction. And kind of like how last week, remember we were talking about the spy versus spy?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe are kind of like the spy versus spy characters. They're the ninjas. They're like the stealthy ones. They're, and I looked this up earlier today. Yeah, here it is. Snake Eyes symbol is the 63rd hexagram of the I Ching. All right.
Of what?
Of the I Ching. The I Ching is the ancient Chinese literature that I don't have time.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
This is it right here. Inside of it, you have these hexagons. Okay. I kind of need to show this so people can get the concept of it. But you have these little these diagrams that are crafted like this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And each one of them have like little tick marks on the side. This has been decoded to likely be a map of the human genome. So here comes your genetic side of things, and probably, cast into some sort of chronicling or cataloging of it and branded as a spiritual document. But really it looks like it's genome specific to humans. Okay, so there's that aspect of it. So the 63rd hexagram of the I Ching, which the one that's the 63rd hexagram is the interplay between water and fire to create volatility, right? So it represents volatility, danger, treachery, deception, death. Snake Eyes has all these different connotations to it in that same thing. But again, Storm Shadow, the storm is also coming. Snake Eyes, the fog, yeah, like you brought up earlier today. But maybe even more specific than that, this will be how we end the show. I'm going to do image file here. And it is.
Are you sharing?
I'm going to put an image file into the little image sharing thing so people can see this. I don't know if this is very wide knowledge for the audience or not, but the hex around here, I just put it in there. The hex around Saturn. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
So furthering our wordplay from earlier, casting spells. You ever heard of, like putting a hex on somebody, hex on somebody's mind? Well, this is kind of a very specific mind control spell, a hex. It's funny that it's the root for hexagon. Hexagonal shapes have a tendency to, in Earth grid networks, interlock with pentagons. Hexagons and pentagons interlock to make buckyballs. That's what the C60 buckyball is, right? Interlocking hex. So it's not as if this is a completely anomalous structure or anything, but it is certainly at a polar region. Winds don't just turn in a natural, perfectly hexagonal pattern, but they do for some reason around Saturn. The one thing that Saturn has are these harmonic rings, of course, that I've argued are concentrating energy with frequencies. Well, check this out. This guy came out of the woodworks this week, Lisa. I don't know where the hell he came from, but he started posting in my Twitter feed. Now I'm going to post this guy's link here.
Okay.
And
let me see if I can pull him up.
He had two posts in particular that these are animations. Okay, these are waveform animations, cymatics animations. This guy is somewhat of a physicist, as I've learned. But what he's doing is he's entrapping the reflectivity of wavelength forms inside of an encapsulated hexagram. And you start to see the resonant energy that's created. It is funny because you start to see Merkaba's / Star of David's appear as it goes through. And again, this is what I've argued. These are them. There it is, right?
Oh my
These
God.
are wavelengths. And he's arguing that if you put, I don't know how to validate this yet. I'm just regurgitating what this supposed physicist. I went through and studied his Twitter feed pretty heavily the other day, and I was like, geez, this guy's posting on some pretty advanced stuff. It seems he's still a gritologist to an extent. He's still like classic physicist, right? But he is which is why he's arguing for this to be a resonator for a perfect to ignite fusion or concentrating shock waves at the center. Now that's the part I key in on, is concentrating the shock waves at the center.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of energy template does this create if something like this is blasted at us by way of that hexagonal storm, let's call it, on top of Saturn with the instruments of the rings? So the second post I posted here kind of reaffirms some more of a 3D modeling of the same.
The bottom one?
Yeah, the bottom one.
Okay. Is that showing? Yeah. Okay.
So again, the hexagonal resonator 3D model. So this might be what waveforms would look like in volumetric space if they were to be used to create a resonator, to create frequencies that emitted from it. And again, you see these Merkaba Star Davids pop up. Of course they're going to, because naturally the vectors are going to intersect as a hexagon at certain points. But it adds further speculation, further credence to my speculations that that is exactly what we may be dealing with the hex of Saturn, right? There's more to it than that, but again, snake eyes, the hex, the I Ching. What is it doing to our DNA? Our DNA resonates with water. Water is something that's very, very heavily manipulated by way of wavelengths. You prove that with Masaru Emoto's work, right? You've read those books of the power of water, to write words even on the side of water glasses. Yeah. It takes on different crystalline structures and stuff. Imagine us, big water meat sacks, 85% water. If we're getting emitted with stuff, what's it going to do? So this is food for thought, everyone. This is more to come as the basis for the V-Steg gets thicker, but Interesting shit, right? It's actually kind of scary when you think about it. If that's the case. If what I'm
tool, it's a tool, so it can be used for good or evil. I mean, it's one of those things, like, it just depends on how it's directed, how it's used, what its intention is. I mean,
well, we have to probably prove that what my speculations. We have to probably disprove my speculation. Try to disprove them first. In order, we can't just operate on that assumption alone. That aliens are controlling our minds from Saturn, but it's not the V-Steg paints a pretty elaborate picture that that's the case. Outside of the scientific,
controlling might be a very broad word, but maybe suppressing,
heavily influencing,
like the
heavily
fluoride or something like that, like holding us back from our true potential, something like that.
But it could also, if they can control what we see. If that's within their abilities, like I was telling you earlier, if they can change their appearance to us, that's a form of control. They're controlling the aspect of what we see. Just like it's not so much different than a control in a scientific experiment. Like you set a control as the unchanging agent. That's what they're doing. They're affecting the control of the experiment.
That would make sense
in a word.
With it being frequency, like, tuning to a station.
Yeah.
And if the other beings are on a different station, well, we wouldn't be able to see them because although they might be in the room, they're on a different station.
And that goes back again to the Cliff High's dad's experience with the goggles. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the heaviness. That's enough heaviness for everybody tonight. But yeah, the snake eyes thing goes deeper than I think I've seen a lot of people on Twitter anyway go with it, because they really did try and parlay that as part of this whole ritual pattern with Charlie Kirk. So tread lightly with your speculations, everyone.
I think there's going to be some embarrassment to everybody, some humility to come out of this. We all have to get humble. I think it's part of the no one's coming to save you. And well, mostly the no one's coming to save you, and everything's out there. All you have to do, you have to save yourself, and it's all out there. So you choose when you want to turn the page to wake up, and then all the information's out there, and you choose when you're done buying tickets to the movie, and then you walk out of the theater. Like, that's kind of where I am right now. So everybody, see where you are. Go outside, touch some grass.
Everybody keeps saying that last 2 weeks. It's like go outside, touch some grass.
I know it, but it resonates, I'm going to go hug a bunch of people I love in Metamora, Illinois, next weekend. If you can get there, get there. And I will be on happy hour tomorrow with my buddy Westwood. Hope y'all will join us and for spaces afterwards. And thank you, Skullcap. I love these. These are so much fun for me.
Yeah, hopefully everybody else does too. I'm doing it mostly for you.
Thanks. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Because I enjoy them too. Well, and for myself, because selfishly I also enjoy them. So.
Yes, it's great stuff. All right. Well, you guys take care. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you. Give us some comments below and let us know your thoughts. I love getting more feedback from the community as well. That adds to the experience and helps give us great ideas. And if there's something that you see out there that we're kind of missing, let us know, because we'd love to kind of hit on some of those ideas as well. So see you guys next time. Take care.